Hello ladies and gentlemen, this is your Vedic astrology coach Rajat Kapoor and welcome to my channel The Legit Astrologer. In my channel I make videos on Vedic astrology, I talk about transits. Today I'm going to talk about Jupiter's transit in Gemini in Ardra Nakshatra. So between 13th of June till 13th of August for about 2 months, Jupiter is going to be making an Atichara motion or a fast paced transit through Ardra Nakshatra that is ruled by Rahu. And I'm going to share with you the significance of this transit, deeper insights into this nakshatra, what we can expect for all 12 ascendant or the moon signs. Now let us remember that results from a physical manifestation point of view are only to be seen when a planet makes a transit through a sign, a zodiac sign or a rashi. So predominantly Jupiter will be delivering results based on its placement in terms of transit in Gemini. However, it will go through different nakshatras, 3 different nakshatras through the time. For the next 2 months, it will be in Ardra Nakshatra that is ruled by Rahu. Nakshatras have a significance at the mental level, at the mindset level. In predictive astrology, when things are at a mundane level, environment, global geopolitical situation, what's happening around the world, and also in terms of weather, yes, nakshatras plays a very important role. But when it comes to predictions for individual, this is where rashis or sign have a greater influence. Let me share with you a deep insight into the difference between the two. Rashis or zodiac signs are powerful and impactful through the day when we are up, when we are awakened, when we do all our duties and the work through the day. Nakshatras are predominantly active and are strong through the night. Nakshatras are related to constellations, and when are these constellations or nakshatras visible? They are visible in the night sky. Therefore, nakshatras have a great significance during the night. So for those people who are born during the night, yes, nakshatras have a greater influence for them in the life. Otherwise, nakshatras play a very important role at the mindset level, because remember, 27 nakshatras are 27 wives of the moon. They are the integral part of moon's family, and therefore the biggest impact it has is at the mental level. So what is going to happen? Firstly, let me make a quick prediction here that between 29th of June till 12th of July, there will be a major financial crisis kind of a situation. In certain countries, there will be regulation, there will be very stringent financial laws or certain big changes when it comes to banking, when it comes to financial regulation, when it comes to the financial markets as a whole, because this is the time when Jupiter will be in Gemini and in Capricorn Navamsha, which is the debilitated Navamsha. So the banking and financial sector towards the end of June till mid of July is likely to go through some sort of turbulence, some sort of major massive changes when it comes to regulation. Some of these decisions or changes could be unpopular as well. It is typically a tough period, so we might see severe decline in stock prices or financial markets, especially when it comes to the financial institutions and banking industry. I also made another prediction few weeks ago that gold prices continue to remain volatile, which came out to be true. I did not expect gold to further rise or decrease as well, and the trend will continue where we will see a frequent increase as well as decrease in the gold price over the next few months. So things are going to be pretty much volatile. Let's talk about Ardra Nakshatra that is ruled by Rahu. It is a very strong, from a temperament point of view, and a karmic nakshatra. Ardra means something that is moist, fresh, green, like a vegetation. So therefore, Jupiter's transit plays a very important role because Jupiter is Jiva. Ardra is associated to vegetation. So from a farming point of view, we could still see major changes, major developments in the farming agricultural sector. There could be some major turbulence here as well. So we must watch this space. Ardra has also been associated to the symbol of diamond. So at the emotional level, we connect it with a teardrop because there is an element of moisture that is involved as well. Overall, it is a very balanced nakshatra, but it is very high when it comes to intellect as well as emotions, because at the geopolitical, at the environment level, Ardra represents thunderstorms. It represents flood kind of a situation, rain. So of course, I also mentioned in my previous videos in terms of global prediction that there will be flooding kind of situation in Romania, which came out true. Now in terms of the region, wherever you stay, northwest, west and southwest directions, these are the three directions that could be predominantly at the risk of thunderstorms, heavy rainfall and flooding kind of situation in terms of the countries that you live in. So of course, regionally as well, if we talk about certain countries such as the US, where northwest, west and southwest could potentially be at risk. European region as well, the northwest part, western and the southwest part of European region, and the Asia Pacific region as well. So these three regions could be at a high risk of flooding and thunderstorm, incessant rainfall across the next couple of months. Ardra Nakshatra is ruled by Rudra. Rudra is the transformative form of Shiva. It is generally considered to be very harsh in terms of his temperament. We also call him the storm god. So of course we could expect cyclones, hurricanes and certain natural calamities to be on the rise between mid of June till mid of August. Now Rudra is the one who rules anarchy, who rules disorder. He is the one who is the significator of chaos and also disorder. But all of these things happen for the right reason, to ensure that we put our acts together and we start protecting our mother nature. This is the clear message of Jupiter when it is making a transit in Ardra Nakshatra. During this time, this nakshatra has a combined energy of Mercury as well as Rahu. And the Bij mantra to ensure maximum results is Om Aim. So use this Bij mantra to ensure that you channelize these transformative energies to the best of your capacity. It is towards the end of the day a violent nakshatra, but it is a very fast-paced nakshatra. By violent, I would mean that the energies are pretty high. There are heightened emotions. There is a greater amount of psychological disbalance between what you do physically and what you think at the emotional plane. So this could bring in psychological issues. This could bring in a situation where there is an increased activity of a warfare, where there are chemicals involved, because certain chemicals are also associated to this nakshatra. It is very strong. So we must do some sort of spiritual practices to calm ourselves and our minds. From a cyclical point of view, Jupiter's transit in Ardra Nakshatra continues to focus on the second cycle, which is about income, possession, family and wealth. So from that point, Jupiter being the significator of wealth, it is quite a good time in terms of manifesting all of these things at the mental level and therefore at the physical level as well. There are two signs, and wherever these houses, these signs are placed in your chart, you will see positive effects of these houses over the next 2 months. That is the sign of Gemini and the sign of Taurus, because these are the signs where the nakshatra lord Rahu gets exalted. Rahu gets exalted at the physical level in Gemini, and in Taurus we call it the Ayush exaltation. So wherever these signs are placed in your chart, if there are any yogas that are formed, that will get activated and you will expect most positive results with regards to these houses. So let's take these important lessons and understand how this transit is going to have an impact on all 12 ascendant signs or the moon signs. At the physical level, you must understand this from your ascendant sign. Predominantly Jupiter's gochar in Gemini, and Ardra Nakshatra is going to support you or probably bring certain challenges at the mental level. Aries ascendant signs or the Aries moon signs. So Jupiter is an important planet for you. It's your 9th lord and the 12th lord, already making a transit in the 3rd house. Now is the time it is going to be changing its nakshatra, and we could expect it to deliver prominent results. Firstly, in this nakshatra, which is ruled by Rahu, which is quite intense, it does bring in a psychological disbalance, but you could expect a lot of gains when it comes to your level of communication, written communication and also short journeys, because Rahu is the one who signifies foreigners. He is the one that loves to go on journeys. And Jupiter, who's your 9th and the 12th lord of long distance journey and foreign lands, is making a transit in your 3rd house. So if you're expecting some sort of travel, movement or trying to settle outside of your home country, in the long run, this time period could be particularly favorable for you. You are likely to get involved in some paperwork, and this paperwork will be most likely related to your identity. So you're likely to go through some changes in your IDs, maybe in your passport or other national IDs. So this is where you have to be mindful of. This time period could be very good for any spiritual pursuits, any spiritual sadhana or a spiritual journey. Because remember, your third house is likely to demonstrate positive results between mid-June till mid-August. So this is quite a good time to embrace any change, to put some efforts, and also to journal, write about things that you like to do. You are likely to also have some ideological differences between your siblings and also with other people. Particularly, it could be your friends as well, it could be your peers, your colleagues at work. So this is where you have to ensure that any conflict that you come across, you're able to resolve it in a nice manner. It is okay to probably be very particular about your ideology, but at the same time try to understand the other person's perspective as well. Jupiter is the significator of knowledge, and Ardra Nakshatra is a very skillful nakshatra. So you're likely to learn a new skill. This time period could be very good for you to market yourself, to build your brand in terms of work. There could be minor health issues that you might face, so this calls for a lifestyle check. Avoid any kind of indulgence, extravagance during this time because the energies are more or less scattered. You will feel heaviness at the psychological, at the mental level. You will have a sense of overcommitment towards your work. You will do everything and anything to probably please other people, to make sure that they are happy, and even those who you have personal relationship with. So because you will be impulsive, you'll try and do a lot in a short span of time, which could have detrimental effects on your health and well-being. This time period also calls for greater focus on relationship because you do have some karmic repercussions because of temperamental changes, because of certain shift of energies. You're likely to involve yourself in conflict with your partner. So make sure that you're being truthful and honest in your communication, and you're being very clear in terms of what you say or share. In order to channelize the most, I would recommend you to read or chant Vishnu Sahasranam, particularly on Wednesdays and Thursdays. You can do to channelize the mental energies and to ensure that you make the most of this time positively. Taurus ascendant signs or the Taurus moon sign. So Jupiter becomes your 8th lord and the 11th lord. It is a potent malefic planet for Taurus ascendants when it comes to from a functional point of view. But this has been making a transit in your 2nd house. Now it will enter Ardra Nakshatra, that is ruled by Rahu. Rahu shares a very good relationship with your Lagna Lord Venus. So this is a period of respite. This is quite a positive phase which is coming for about 2 months. However, there will be some old issues which might crop in, which might come in during this time at the mental level that could be a little bit concerning. Now these old issues could be related to your finances, some investment decisions that you made in the past that may resurface, and you might have to make some long-term decisions in terms of correcting those decisions. So this could be long-term decisions related to your finances, related to your investment, or matters pertaining to your family, or certain obstacles or certain cases that you might have in the past that might resurface again. So this is a period where you have to be a little bit careful because Ardra is towards the end of the day a very karmic nakshatra. It's a fast-paced nakshatra and Jupiter has a fast-paced transit. Though momentarily, good thing is that you will get positive results of the 2nd house because this is where Rahu gets exalted in the sign of Gemini. You will also get positive results of your Lagna of Taurus because this is also where Rahu gets exalted at the soul level from a longevity point of view. So you are expected to be more self-confident and to be able to make your decisions independently without the influence of other people because you could be susceptible towards negative influence of other people around this time. You will be very impulsive when it comes to your speech. Avoid heated discussions. Avoid any arguments, particularly in professional settings. So when you're working with other people, it is okay to be impulsive as long as you're able to channelize your energies. So if you were to look for some quick wins, you need to be impulsive, you need to be fast-paced, you need to decide very quickly. but at the same time have a long-term view in terms of what you're trying to achieve. There could also be some old issues with regards to ancestral properties, with regards to inheritance, with regards to potential issues that are connected with your family and of course your wider family, your immediate and wider family. So this is where you have to be prepared with. You will also see a shift because Jupiter in Ardra will bring mental level shift in terms of your eating habits. Either you will try and be very experimental with your food, with your dietary requirements, or you will be very restrictive in terms of what your choices are, right? I would highly encourage you that these 2 months you need to make the most of these energies and save as much as you can. Focus on saving of your income, saving of your wealth, your finances. You will also see a kind of transformation in your own value system and how you try to build it for your own family, right? In case you have children, this is quite an auspicious time for their growth and for you to influence this nice value system on your children. See, in order to make the most of this transit, Jupiter is making a transit in your second house. It is towards the end of the year 8th Lord. I would encourage you to fast on Thursdays. This could be good for you, but that would depend on the placement of Jupiter. So this time period could definitely bring some respite and some important financial decisions. Gemini ascendant signs or the Gemini moon signs. So Jupiter has been making a transit in your Lagna, in your ascendant itself. And now it is going to be entering Ardra Nakshatra. Ardra Nakshatra has a huge significance that I have explained in the beginning of my video. Now, Jupiter is your 7th Lord and the 10th Lord. It also becomes the Badikesh or Lord of Obstacles for you. So, it rules all those people who are opposite to you and your work, profession. So, for relationship, marriage and also for job, profession, Jupiter plays a very important role for Gemini ascendants and also to bring in obstacles in your life. Now, when will this play a role of Kendra Lord, when will this play a role of the Lord of Obstacles would really depend on the placement of Jupiter and the kind of time period that you're running. So it will be different at different times. Jupiter somehow definitely is bringing a very good change in your personal growth, personal transformation while transiting your ascendant, and you will see it in a very fast paced manner. So there is definitely a lot of personal growth, but between mid-June to mid-August is a time when you will be focusing a lot on questioning yourself, questioning your decisions, your ideals, your value. So this is where you have to ensure that you ask the right questions to yourself. Because see, it is a period of self-evolution. You will build your identity in the imminent time, the next few months. But what questions are you asking yourself? That is quite important. You could feel mentally rushed up, or this could be a little bit of a taxing time when it comes to at the mental level. If you've started some spiritual practices, you might develop inconsistency over the next couple of months because you will be a little bit confused in terms of what spiritual practice you should follow. You will certainly be very keen about building deeper awareness of yourself and what practices to follow. Now, saving grace, good part is that your Lagna, your ascendant, the sign of Gemini is likely to develop very good results, very positive results, because this is where Rahu gets exalted. Even your 12th house is likely to develop or deliver positive results because this is also where Rahu gets exalted in Taurus and Gemini. So you could ensure that your expenditure is going to come down. You will focus on more spiritual practices and your self-confidence is going to increase. You could take some of the best decisions during this time in case you have a well-disposed Mercury and Rahu in your chart. See, Rahu is also making a transit in your 9th house over Aquarius, right? And Rahu is the co-ruler of Aquarius. So it's your co-bhagyesha. It's an important planet for you. Health matters might see a little bit of a fluctuation, but in a general sense, you have to bring in a lot of changes in your lifestyle, particularly what you eat, what you consume. You could have a tendency to put on weight over the next few months. So this is where you have to be careful. Now, you will also like to reinvent or probably re-establish your image in the outer world of public, of people, of events, in your relationship. It's a very good time to build credible, meaningful, long-lasting relationships. So very positive for relationship, for marriage, for, of course, support of your partner, and quite supportive for starting new line of work in the long run. Set some long-term goals for yourself because you are anyway more confident than ever during this time to achieve those goals. Worship Lord Shiva, use the Shiva mantra, that is Om Namo Bhagavate Sadashivaya, and he is the one who will guide you and protect you. Cancer ascendant signs or the Cancer moon sign. So what is happening in terms of Jupiter's transit? Jupiter has already been making a transit in your 12th house. Now 13th of June it is going to enter Ardra Nakshatra, that is ruled by Rahu, and till 13th of August it is going to be 13th of June till 13th of August it is going to be in Ardra Nakshatra. Now this is happening in your 12th house, 12th house of higher self-consciousness, spirituality, your spiritual progress, losses, expenditure. Jupiter is your 9th lord, your Bhagyesha, lord of fortune. It's an important planet. It also rules your 6th house of daily routine, your debts, diseases, things that you do on a day-to-day basis. So this year Jupiter is bringing a lot of spiritual progress. Ardra is a very karmic nakshatra. This represents places which are moist, green. It represents vegetation. At the emotional level, it represents a teardrop. So there is a greater amount of spiritual progress that you will see over the next 2 months. This also brings a huge inclination or interest towards hidden knowledge. So you could gradually be interested in learning about astrology, Jyotish, occult, or any other research related subjects, metaphysics, science, where you have to put in research. In case you have higher education goals or pursuits, this could be a potentially favorable time, and you could probably do or the likes of PhD or doctorate as well. In case you have to write thesis, you have to do a lot of research, you could probably have a sudden increase in your expenditure, and this time period could bring in overseas travel. That is quite likely because Jupiter for you rules the long distance journey and makes a transit in the 12th house. And now in Ardra Nakshatra, Rahu is the significator of all the travel and of course foreign places. Though Venus represents air travel from a transportation point of view, but Rahu is the foreigner. He represents foreign places. So you are likely to come in contact with people who are from different cultures, different background. But be very careful of financial matters when it comes to dealing with other people. So you have to probably ensure that you don't lend money or you don't borrow money during this time. So borrowing and lending is something which you have to be careful of in case your Dasha Antardasha is not so conducive. So put that on hold, and of course because you will have some trust issues on other people. Jupiter in 12th house is supporting your sleep but could cause some sort of unrest in terms of your subconscious mind. So in terms of dreaming and of course having very strong temperamental issues as well, because this time period could increase or inflate your ego. Jupiter will help you become more self-aware, and if you become more self-aware, you would probably have a sense of superiority kind of feeling as well when it comes to other people. You must do charity work. You must avoid escapism. So do not run away from your responsibilities because it will give you isolative tendencies over the next 2 months, because emotionally it's a very strong nakshatra. If you leverage your energies in charity, in helping others, in donating, that is very good for you. Do some philanthropical work. And from a remedial point of view, strengthen your Jupiter. Consume turmeric in milk. This is how you will channelize and strengthen your loving Lord Moon as well as Jupiter throughout this time to make the best decisions of your life. Leo ascendant signs or the Leo moon signs. Jupiter is an important planet for you because it's your 5th lord and the 8th lord. 5th lord of future, your progress, children. 8th lord of longevity, also suddenness in life, sudden ups and downs, places that are across the sea. And of course, we see all weaknesses, your weaknesses on Nija dosha from the 8th house. This Jupiter, Gurudev, have been making a transit in the 11th house of gains, your income, material comforts. We also see bigger, greater enemies from the 11th house because this is 6 from the 6th house. So definitely it's a very positive transit of Jupiter being a Karak Graha for you. There are all likely chances of gains and of course building your network via online platform. If you establish a business, try to increase your online presence because you have a huge scope. Jupiter is going to expand the matters related to this house. Now this time around what's happening is Jupiter is moving in Ardra Nakshatra, that is ruled by Rahu. between 13th of June till 13th of August. So these 2 months would see you making some unusual networks, building unusual networks. Because Rahu is a very unconventional graha. It likes to expand. And during this time, Jupiter will try and expand all matters to make you more influential. So you're likely to influence people, but influence them for the right reasons, right? Your friendships may undergo a check. So you would like to review your list of friends and try to be more cautious. Maybe some experiences that you've had in the past where you were subject to some manipulation or some sort of cheating or deceit would come out in the open, and this will open your eyes, and you would like to re-evaluate some of the people in your life who you thought that could be close but they are not. So this is where you will have some similar experiences, which will of course ensure that you build credible relationship with those who matter for you the most. You will also come across people who have a very unconventional way of doing things or habit. You will learn certain skills that are unconventional in nature that perhaps you did not think about. This is supporting your learning, this is supporting your education, and you will probably come across with people who would give you a kind of lesson or a teaching that would be very different in nature, something that you could not think of, and this could be useful for you. This is a very good planning, this is a very good time for future planning. Because see, what Jupiter in Ardra is ensuring is that you get best results of your 11th house. This is where Rahu gets exalted in Gemini, and you also get good results of the 10th house. So from a work standpoint, it is quite a progressive transit. You could expect increment, you could expect mental level satisfaction or growth. But you must be futuristic. You must look ahead of the time, because towards the end of the day, all that glitters is not gold, right? Your current time is there. But if you were to secure your future and ensure consistency in your future, you have to come up with a plan. So these 2 months are very good in terms of planning, right? Now you must ensure that you look after animals and do some welfare for the animals over the next few weeks from a karmic standpoint. This is a simple remedy for you which you can follow. Virgo ascendant signs or the Virgo moon signs. Jupiter is going to be entering in Ardra Nakshatra in Gemini on 13th of June until 13th of August. It will stay. So for about 2 months, this is the transit that is happening. How it is going to affect us at the mental level and also at the physical level. So Jupiter has been making a transit in your 10th house. Jupiter for you rules your 4th and the 7th house. So it rules 2 Kendra houses, and at the same time it becomes the Lord of Obstacle, the Lord of Badak for you. It's a Badakesh. Jupiter is also one of the significator of the 10th house because he represents knowledge at work, education at work, wisdom at work, and your conduct at work, how you deal with others, particularly your subordinates. So it's quite a positive transit from that point, but momentarily this can also bring in obstacles at work, very strong opposition at work. Momentarily you are entering in a good phase between mid-June to mid-August that could bring promising career growth. But this will only happen if you innovate, if you be more creative. You need to break the patterns. You need to probably start doing something very differently. In case you are struggling from getting a new opportunity, maybe you're not doing something right. This is where you need to reevaluate. Let's say you're applying for a job and you're not getting there, you're not getting calls. Maybe there is something wrong in your CV or your resume or the way you apply. So you need to change. You need to be more creative. You need to leverage your communication there. That needs to expand. Your knowledge and wisdom should come out strong in your communication, should come out strong in your professional endeavors. You might have a mismatch at the philosophical level when it comes to dealing with other peoples. If you speak with people who have an authority, or if you speak with your clients, with your peers, you're likely to have some differences at the philosophical level, which is fine. As long as you're able to respect these differences, you identify these differences, you respect these differences, things are pretty much fine for you. You will have a more strategic approach in your communication. This could improve your image at work, Because when Jupiter is making a transit in your 10th house, and that too in Ardra Nakshatra, a fast-paced nakshatra, this is heightened emotions. Psychological emotions are very strong. And it's an excellent time for you to build your image, build your brand at work, in office, make your presence felt. From a remedial point of view, you must teach others or support education of a child. See, towards the end of the day, Rahu gets exalted in Gemini, which is your 10th house. So your 10th house is going to see positive effects. So for 2 months, it's a good time for work. And also for your 9th house, because Rahu also gets exalted in 9th house in the sign of Taurus. So this is where you will also expect positive results related to your fortune, related to your bhagya. So both for your fortune and work are being supportive. So it's a good time to start some meaningful work, meaningful project. Why I'm saying meaningful is because this phase is important for you to connect what you do with your life's meaning and purpose. You need to expect resistance from other people and be prepared for it. But this is also an opportunity for you to make your presence felt. Worship Lord Vishnu. Chant a simple Vishnu mantra, that is Om Vishnave Nama, in order to ensure that you gain the most, and you strengthen your Lagna Lord Mercury to ensure a sense of balance. Libra ascendant signs or the Libra moon sign. So what is happening on 13th of June, Jupiter is now entering Ardra Nakshatra in the sign of Gemini, which is a very heavy and an influential nakshatra. This is ruled by Rudra, the transformative form of Lord Shiva, the god of storms. And this is happening in your 9th house of Bhagya, fortune, long journeys, higher education, spiritual education. Jupiter is the significator of the 9th house itself, but it is a functional malefic for you since it rules your 3rd house and the 6th house, which are not so good houses. One house represents valor, your courage, change. The other represents your weaknesses of the mind, shadripus, deaths, diseases, health and well-being, and of course things that you do on a day-to-day basis on a positive side. This is a transformative and a heavy nakshatra, so this period could bring in a sudden change or sudden shift in your belief system. So this is where you have to be cautious. You could develop an issue or a conflict either with your teacher, mentor, guide, or if you have a spiritual guru. You could momentarily develop a difference, or you could get into any sort of communication issue there. So just be careful, because you're likely to have strong temperament in terms of your ideology, in terms of your belief system. Rahu is very unconventional. This nakshatra has unconventional energies, and of course it is very much connected to greenery. It is very much connected to things that are moist in nature, vegetation. So of course, from a remedial point of view, have plants at your home. From a karmic standpoint, this is also a way you will be able to strengthen your Mercury. You will feel a bit restless when you practice some spiritual practices, because you would probably either do multiple things at the same time, or you will be over committed to these activities. So this is where you have to be a little bit careful. For higher education, it is very beneficial. For foreign travel, it is very beneficial. You are likely to probably go on foreign journeys. You can go on spiritual journeys or retreat in case you have a competitive examination. In case you are opting for formal education, this time period could be extremely supportive. Your father's health needs to be at check, and your relationship with your father as well, that might need attention during this time. So you will try to rebuild, re-establish this relationship, or there could be a situation of conflict. Try and stay low-key. Try and stay very respectful in terms of what you say. See, towards the end of the day, you need to be the protector of your dharma. You need to expand your sense of righteousness, your religion, your lineage, your value system, right? This time period is also quite ideal for those people who are in the profession of, let's say, law, financial services, and research and consulting, right? Some of these professions, they could see some growth. Your 9th house, which is the sign of Gemini, will demonstrate positive results for 2 months. So your bhagya is supportive, your fortune is supportive. Travel is going to bring in fruitful results. anything that you do from an education standpoint will bring in fruitful results. Your 8th house is also likely to develop positive results. This is where Taurus is, and Rahu also gets exalted in Taurus. Your health needs particular attention, so make sure that you go for a routine, regular health checkup and bring some changes in your lifestyle. From a remedial point of view, offer water to the sun and add a yellow flower into it, and do that every day for the next 2 months. You will gain some benefits, and this will support your wealth creating opportunities as well. Scorpio ascendant signs or the Scorpio moon signs. So what is happening is Jupiter is making a transit in Ardra Nakshatra on 13th of June for the next 2 months. Jupiter is an important planet for you because it's your second lord and the fifth lord. So it plays a very important role in all wealth related matters. Second lord of your finances, your family, your speech, consumption. This is your storage space, and also the fifth lord of your children, your future, progress, possession, success. Therefore, Jupiter becomes one of the most important planet for Scorpio ascendants. It has been making a transit in your 8th house already. And this is where it will promote and expand transformation of all kinds. And this could be quite intense as well. So, 5th lord connected to the 8th house and now moving through Rahu's nakshatra, which is Ardra Nakshatra. It's a very psychological, strong nakshatra. I would highly encourage you to go for some spiritual subjects, some research related subjects, study astrology, Jyotish, occult. You might reach out to other people to take support. So this could be some sort of astrological guidance as well. And you might get the right guidance during this time if you reach the right people. Because this time period demands intense transformation at the psychological level in terms of your mindset to make more spiritually aware and uplifted. Next 2 months, you must engage yourself in spiritual practices such as yoga, sadhana, meditation, because your 4, 8, 12, the moksha trine is pretty active. During this transit, you will get positive results of the 8th house, which of course will avoid any suddenness and of your ability to deal with suddenness. You will be able to easily overcome any sort of setbacks, and you will turn these setbacks into opportunities. You will also see positive results related to 7th house. So in case you wish to establish a new business or a partnership, this could be a good time for you. Your relationship will prosper when it comes to relationship with other people. You're likely to come across and have a new relationship, and this could be only known to yourself and not to the world, which could be good for you. You could experience some unexpected inheritance or some breakthroughs when it comes to inheritance. You're also likely to involve yourself in research when it comes to education and supporting your children in their research, in their line of work. In case you have children, you definitely have some karma during this time. Avoid any risky financial decisions. So this is a time where you have to be careful of, without any guidance, without any advice, without any knowledge, please do not venture into any major financial decisions. And if you try and venture in, it needs to be safe, it needs to be for the long term. You have to develop a habit of letting go of things, right? Probably moving from a control oriented person to becoming more of a letting go kind of a person or an attitude. This will help you mentally. This will help you emotionally as well. From a spiritual standpoint, if you were to increase your spiritual practice, if you were to strengthen your lagna, your ascendant, you must look up to Shri Hari, Lord Vishnu, and chant a simple mantra, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. This is something which you can do if you wish to indulge yourself in spiritual practices, if you wish to feel good during this time, but the energies are quite intense and you must take care of yourself. Sagittarius ascendant signs or the Sagittarius moon signs, your Lagna Lord, Lord of the Ascendant, Jupiter has already been making a transit in your 7th house of Jaya, which is peace and also war. All those people who are opposite to you. Your attitude towards the outer world of things, people and events. We also call it the Daya Bhava. So we see your ability to give others. Jupiter, being your Lagna Lord, making a transit in the 7th house, quite certainly will make you more self-centered, focusing on yourself, which could be good and not so good. If you focus on yourself with the best interest of working on some of the most pressing and important matters in your life, it is good. But if it is increasing and inflating your ego, and if it is affecting your relationship, then this is not so good for you. It's not a very strong position for Jupiter from a transit point of view. Now it is going to be making a transit in Rahu's nakshatra between 13th of June till 13th of August. So it will bring in some turbulent dynamics when it comes to marriage and marital harmony, any business partnership, or of course if you run your business, if you have your business, and your relationship with other people. You will probably experience truth. So this will bring some revelations, this will bring some of those things that you were not aware of for your own interest, for your own good, so that you can really understand and evaluate the kind of people you have in your life. So you will be a truth seeker. You will probably uncover the true image or how these people were with you. You might attract partners, new relationship, who are very high on wisdom, who are very heavy on philosophy, or those who are philosophical in nature. Your partner may develop very heavy philosophical tendencies during this time, and of course very good for their learning, for their education, for their teaching. If you have any existing business contracts, agreements, you might have to renegotiate. You might have to look back at certain decisions which you took in the past where some mistakes were made, or you had issues with regards to paperwork. So this time period you might come across with legal issues, paperwork issues, where there could be some issues with signatures, completion of documents. So you will have to do all of this to have more clarity and to ensure that you're very clear in terms of formalizing anything, in terms of putting those papers across. So make sure that you take some proactive steps towards it. As if you're married, so you're likely to probably build a cordial relationship eventually, because initially there will be strong differences, but if you get some counseling, if you get some help, you're likely to establish a strong relationship. You're likely to establish a strong sense of belief that your relationship is a good relationship. Towards the end of the day, you are likely to expect positive results for your 7th house, because this is where Rahu gets exalted. You will also expect positive results for the 6th house. So this is conflicting in nature, because 7th house is your strong marriage, of course your reunion. 6th house is 12th from the 7th, which of course looks at loss, or it looks at your weaknesses, your shadripus. So of course you will be very growth oriented, you will be very growth focused. So at the job front you can get new opportunities, but your relationship needs a lot of attention. Use a Vishnu mantra, that is Om Namo Narayanaya, and look up to him to sail through this transit. Capricorn ascendant signs or the Capricorn moon signs. Jupiter, Guru, Devaguru Brihaspati, he has already been making a transit in your 6th house in the sign of Gemini. And this house represents your deaths, diseases, things that you do on a day-to-day basis, weaknesses of the mind, your competition, enemies, those people who bring opposition in your life. For Capricorn ascendants, Jupiter is more of a neutral planet. It's your 3rd lord of valor, efforts, courage, change, and also the 12th lord of higher self-consciousness, losses, diseases, health and well-being. Jupiter is giving you a Viparita Yoga in transit, being the 3rd and the 12th lord, making a transit in the 6th house. Situation will go adverse, eventually you will rise. Now Jupiter is making a transit in Ardra Nakshatra between 13th of June till 13th of August. So for about 2 months. It's a very balanced nakshatra, but this nakshatra brings a conflict between intellect and emotions at the high level. So firstly, in the 6th house, Jupiter is going to expand matters. It rules your 12th house of hospitals. So be prepared for certain health related concerns or challenges momentarily, but this could probably improve your lifestyle. Especially those people who have any respiratory conditions, who have any nerve related conditions, or who have any digestive issues, these things may arise. You could be more susceptible to some of these things. So make sure that you keep yourself at check. This time period calls for a transformation in your lifestyle. Otherwise, Ardra represents storms, thunderstorms. So you might not want to bring in these kind of storms in your health and well-being. If you've been dealing with some past legal issues, litigation, you might come across it again to probably deal with it. If it is related to your workplace, you are likely to get involved in some workplace politics or some of these situations. I would highly encourage you to stick to the path of righteousness. Keep doing your duty. Keep doing your dharma. Jupiter in the 6th house would expand your ability towards seva or service, and this is something which you must do. Donate to others, go and do some seva, go and do some service, help those who need, instead of spending your time and energies in unnecessary office related politics. Stay away from it momentarily, because you could have some very strong opposition during this time. You must develop a routine and also discipline in your routine. So these are very strong Rahu energies in these nakshatras, and thankfully you will have positive results of the 6th house, which will ensure that you come up with a routine. If you've had any debt in the past, you could be in a position to repay those debts, or you could be in a position to make some changes, either pay in part or make some transfer of this debt. So that is something which you could deal with over the next few weeks. You are also likely to win over your enemies or opposition, because Jupiter shares a friendly relationship with your Lagna Lord Saturn, and Rahu is just like Saturn, and this is Rahu's nakshatra. So you are likely to, of course, win over enemies, but this win should not come by your aggression. Channelize your aggression, tame your aggression. In order to do that, you can fast on Thursdays, you can give some donations on Thursdays, so things that you give away, right? Because Jupiter is your 12th lord. So this is how you probably read this transit in order to make the most of these energies. Aquarius ascendant signs or the Aquarius moon signs. So what is happening in Jupiter's transit? Between 13th of June till 13th of August, Jupiter will be making a transit in Ardra Nakshatra, which is ruled by Rahu. Of course, I shared some very interesting insights about this nakshatra in the beginning of this video, along with some global predictions. Jupiter for you is your 2nd lord and the 11th lord. So for all financial matters, it plays a very important role. It is more of a neutral planet because it shares a very respectful relationship with your Lagna Lord Saturn. Rahu is also the co-ruler of Aquarius, so it becomes your co-Lagnesh. So this time period is bringing opportunities, because firstly Jupiter is making a transit in your 5th house. He is the significator or Karaka of the 5th house. It is making a transit in Rahu's nakshatra, who is your co-Lagna Lord, and you will see positive results of the 5th house. So matters pertaining to children and their recognition, their success, your speculative gains, future opportunities, and certain outcomes will be positive. But things may also be a bit volatile, because see, we see your progress, position, success from the 5th house. We also see corruption from the 5th house. So Rahu is trying to probably invoke a lot of intense energies over this Jupiter. So though you do have greater chances of gains in speculative business through your children and of course planning for your future, but this time period could make you a bit corrupt as well. You would look at shortcuts, and please remember that there are no shortcuts for financial prosperity or for having long-term gains, and for you to stay clean as well. So avoid any unethical means or measures to make money, to have a rise in your income. You could get involved in creative projects, creative assignments. You could become more creative in terms of dealing with your children. You could be more involved with your children as a parent in case you have. And if you don't have, this time period could definitely create a positive circumstances for you to have a child. Now you will get a lot of inspiration at a spiritual level, because 5th house is very important for Jupiter's transit, and this is an intense nakshatra. So you can get inspired from other people who have a spiritual discipline or practice, and make sure that you mirror this practice. Make sure that you learn from others, and at the same time you try and inculcate some of these spiritual practices in your daily life. You could have some karma when it comes to romanticism, when it comes to relationship. This could lead to some sort of confusion. So if you're looking forward to establishing yourself in a new relationship, you have to be a little bit careful. don't take a step back, but take a pause and try to re-evaluate and understand the situation, and most importantly, understand this new person in your life. This could be a little bit of an illusion as well, or you could be susceptible to deceit or dishonesty. So this is where you have to be a little bit careful, especially those who are establishing in a new relationship. You are likely to learn a lot when it comes to astrology or other spiritual subjects, Jyotish, Vedanga, so all the ancient knowledge. So make sure that you read a chapter or two every day during this time. You're likely to build a lot of psychological strength. This is something which Jupiter will support, and your 5th house and 4th house, both of these houses will see positive results, because this is where Rahu gets exalted. So a lot of mental peace, and at the same time future looks a bit fruitful. Strengthen your Lagna Lord Saturn, and you must look at Lord Vishnu and worship him every day. Read Vishnu Sahasranam on Wednesday and Thursdays. This could be quite beneficial for you. Pisces ascendant signs or the Pisces moon signs. Jupiter is your Lagna Lord, Lord of the Ascendant. So of course its transit matters a lot. And on 13th of June it is going to be entering Ardra Nakshatra, and for the next 2 months Jupiter is going to stay in Ardra Nakshatra. I have given an important significance of this nakshatra and some interesting insights in the beginning of this video. This Jupiter is making a transit in your 4th house. 4th house of your comfort space, your happy space, your safe space, your mother, your homeland. Of course, it is going to bring in a lot of home related transitions and transformation over the course of time. Jupiter for you is the Lagna Lord, Lord of the Ascendant, the ruler of yourself, your body, your vitality, your immunity. Also the 10th Lord of your profession, your actions in the society, your work, your karmas. Ardra is a very intense nakshatra. It has got a heightened intellect and also high emotions. It could bring in a lot of psychological pressure. So momentarily it is time for you to step out of your comfort zone, because the nakshatra energies are intense. Jupiter is also having a very fast paced transit. So you could see yourself doing some sort of renovation, construction work, or some sort of changes in your home. This could be a good time to perhaps look at dealing in property related matters or real estate matters in case your dasha antardasha is supportive. At the same time, you also must go through some emotional level cleansing to feel better, because spiritually it's a supportive transit. Your 4, 8, 12 moksha trine is pretty active. You must declutter your home in order to manage your emotions, in order to ensure that you are positive as far as your energy is concerned. Your relationship with your mother might fluctuate. Your relationship with people back home, in case you live away from your homeland, might fluctuate. There is a karmic realization that you will have over the next few weeks in terms of how you can strengthen it. And what is that you could do? You need to leave your ego aside. You need to probably ignore a few things as well in the best interest of your relationship. Your mind might feel a bit restless. Emotional grounding is something that you need over the course of next few weeks in order to counter this restlessness. This is where you will strengthen your Jupiter and also your moon. So you must consume milk and add a bit turmeric in milk, and must consume first thing in the morning, or you could do it late in the night as well before you go to bed. This way you will probably strengthen both Jupiter as well as moon in your chart. Emotional grounding is something that you definitely need. Keep your ego aside. This is a very good time for investment, but investing in your self-care, because self-care is health-care towards the end of the day. You are likely to undergo some significant changes in your lifestyle in terms of how you deal with or conduct yourself. See, this is happening in your heart chakra. So listen to your heart more than your mind. Your emotional level thinking and your emotionally driven decision making would be at a test over the next few weeks. And you must make sure that you make the most of this transit. Light a ghee lamp or diya in the morning and pray to Lord Shiva in order to make the most of this transit. So friends, this was yet another unique video about Jupiter's transit in Ardra Nakshatra and how it is going to have an impact on you at the mental level. I hope and believe Jupiter's transit in Ardra does bring those intense energies, but help us transform, help us remove our tears and the tears of other people as well, and bring some prosperity in our life. Thank you very much. God bless you all.